And we're back again for more fun and games. First thing I will do is I'll show you this command and what it does. Notice that I'm using the menu. I'm not trying to use a mouse. Okay, this is a built-in function that gives you the major, binder, and patch versions of your PowerShell version. Now, if instead of just running it by itself, if I want to say, well, what does this refer to, I can wrap it into a string. Notice that these are double quotes. Double quotes, not only can you put a variable in there like this, you can actually put the results of an expression. What you have here is this parentheses is talking about evaluate this expression here, and this is basically says return it as a string. Okay, and so instead of just putting this out, it says PS version 7.1.4. This is useful if you want to manipulate a string to make it more readable. Now the next thing I will show is the difference between double quotes and single quotes. This is a double quote. The value of 2 plus 3 is 5. And it says the value is 5 is 5. What it did was it evaluated the expression in here and it stuck it in as a string. Now if you use single quotes, these are what called literal quotes. It's just going to give you exactly what you put in there. So if you want to make sure that you don't accidentally escape something, or if you want to make sure that you put something in that's literally what you put in, you use single quotes. Okay, we have a website reference here to say more about quotes. Okay, the next thing we'll talk about is regular expressions. And what happens here is we will go through and we will look for some text patterns that have the question mark in there. Notice I had to put a slash in front of the question mark. I had to do that, otherwise it will not run. This is why you put a tick mark instead of the slash for things like new line. Okay, if I run it, it shows me out of the help file. There's one file in there. It's the default text file, and it shows you some reference in there that have a question mark. Now, and this is a regular expression. I could use a regular expression here. This is all patterns which have a H and they have a bunch of letters and then they end with a P. Let's see how that goes. Okay. Most of those are help, but notice what's really interesting in here, that you got help, but you got help here 2 or 3 times, and it actually expands to do the whole, it returns the whole string, not just the HELP. It goes in and finds the last P. Okay. Now I'm going to, I have a version of the King James Bible on text, and I'm going to look for the word suburb, because at one time I thought the suburb was a comparatively new term. It turns out it's been around since the King James Bible. Now the first thing I have to do is I have to set my working directory to where the file is, which I do. You notice that it's in student CSCI 301 Fall 2 and 21 Lab 10. Okay, then I'll have it opened up to King James Bible version Bible on text, and I'll look for the pattern suburb. And sure enough, it used suburbs. It used it quite a bit. So the word suburb's been around since about 1611. I wouldn't have thought that. Okay, it seems like we're making pretty good time, so I'll go ahead and talk about reading and writing from a text file. Text file I'll use will be the King James Version again. And the first thing is, let's just read it in, and let's do the first 20 lines. Okay, it's sitting there thinking about it, because you're reading the whole Bible in. It's going to take a little while. There it goes. Now you notice I can resize these windows, and I want to resize this one a little bit. Okay, it says Project Gutenberg Eve book of the King James Bible. Notice it has a copyright statement on it. And it also tells you to be careful and check with whatever country you're in to make sure that you follow the copyright laws. A little bit of review of week 5. Okay, so the other thing we can do is we can go out and we can get the file data and we can say, give me everything that says alpha and omega. And it's looking for it. It's going to take a while. And that didn't do too much, did it? Well, it didn't do much because we had it calculate a variable, but we didn't say print out the variable. So let's print out the variable. There you go. 98516, etc. And these are the lines that have that in there. I say, well, let me pull up one of those lines and make sure. I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and end, saith the Lord. It goes on to the next line. Notice that I said 98515, where it's actually line 98516. Remember, your array numbers are 0 base, so the first one actually starts with 0. Well, that's enough fun with string manipulation and writing in and out of text files. We will start going into functions and other features of PowerShell after the break.